Welcome to ConstructTech TV and welcome to the month of June, otherwise known as Safety Month. We talk about safety on every episode, but today we will take a closer look, starting right here on Tech Update. This week's top 5 tech trends include safety regulations, a smart neighborhood, the project of the week, buildings for communities in need, and machine tracking. So let's start by talking about safety. I can't emphasize enough how paramount it is to be safe on the job, right? Or is it? According to a survey from the National Safety Council, 58% of construction workers say safety takes a back seat to productivity. Yikes. The results of this survey get even more scary. 51% say management only does the minimum required by law to keep their employees safe. It gets even worse. 47% say employees are afraid to report safety issues. Now that's a whopping almost half of all the respondents. So do you get the picture here? Things need to change. But where do we start? The National Safety Council says gauging perceptions is one of the first steps to raising awareness, which is going to lessen workplace injuries and hopefully reduce deaths. So let's start there. You've heard of smart homes, but what about smart neighborhoods? Signature Homes is partnering to create a connected community in Alabama. The 62 homes in this suburb will include energy-efficient features, smart materials and appliances, and a community-scale power system. Now check this out. This is where this project gets truly connected. The home builder is partnering with Alabama Power, Southern Company, and Oak Ridge National Laboratory. Together, the companies will collect energy usage and performance data. The data will collect from the HVAC, the heat pump, the water heaters, and all these other systems. Analysis will be conducted to understand how to improve the way homes are actually being built. When you think of a smart home, did you ever think we would be talking about HVAC and water heaters? Signature Homes did. Now that's what you can call smart homes, or simply just being smart. What does it take to achieve LEED Silver certification? That's today's Project of the Week. Harris Corporation recently achieved this level of certification on its new Global Innovation Center. This project includes technology that helps make the building more efficient. The energy performance is 35% better than the standards. The water fixtures and irrigation is 40% better than the standards, and the construction waste reuse and management achieved a 50% in savings. What's more, this project has a number of technologies, including 8 digital and interactive experiences, a 20 by 7 foot interactive mural, and has a multimedia conference rooms. The objective here is to create a building that facilitates collaboration. And of course, most of all, it is energy efficient. And that's one certified project. United Healthcare is committed to making lives healthier by connecting housing and healthcare. Now the organization has put forth some big financial investments to help the homeless with relief and recovery efforts. United Healthcare has invested $12 million in the Path Metro Villas in Los Angeles. It recently broke ground on the 65-unit housing community to serve the homeless. The complex has case management offices, security, and other amenities. And this is only one example. United Healthcare has also provided relief and recovery efforts for the flood victims in southeast Louisiana. This will be used to launch a Welcome Home program that will rebuild and restore homes and businesses. It will also be used to train individuals and organizations on how to rebuild homes more effectively. Want to get involved? Check out sbpusa.org. Worried about equipment tracking you? Soon machines will be watching other machines. New research is being done at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln to automatically track driving of heavy diesel equipment. Here's the catch. It uses the embedded features on the smartphone. Think GPS, accelerometers, and more. The phone automatically captures information. This then identifies driving patterns, air pollutant emissions, and assesses productivity of equipment. Your smartphone is watching your equipment. This is one way the machines are talking. Can you hear them? That's your tech update for today. While June is the start of the summer season, it is also the National Safety Month. Contractors may be looking to get as much done as possible, but safety cannot be compromised. Here to kick off the National Safety Month is Wes Scott, the Director of Consulting at the National Safety Council. Wes, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So Wes, let's talk about that. You know, safety is of the utmost importance on the job site. What do we really need to get contractors to be thinking about during National Safety Week?
Well, during National Safety Month,
I guess I should say.
During National Safety Month, one of the things that we'd like contractors in particular to think about is preventing and eliminating falls on the job site. That has a tendency to be an issue that year over year is in the top 3 of all of the injuries reported on job sites.
So why are falls still so prevalent on the job site? You know, you'd think by now they've had enough training and that they would be concerned about that, but why do we still have that as still the leading factor on the job site?
You are correct. There's a lot of training, there's a lot of equipment available out there, but the bottom line is sometimes employees just simply feel that they can get the job done quicker if they eliminate using the tools and the equipment made available to them. Sometimes they feel rushed, sometimes they feel that their boss wants productivity over the safety piece. So there's a lot of contributing factors there. So
we've now advanced in a stage where equipment's improved, technology's improved. Are we not using all of these tools that we have available to us, that we're still so in a rush to get the job done that we've not advanced to take advantage of what is available to us?
The equipment that's available is certainly very good equipment. There's a lot of new technology out there. Some employers don't invest in the newer technology and they're still using older style equipment. So that's a factor, but sometimes it's just simply the case that employees take shortcuts and don't use the equipment, don't connect the harnesses, for example. So there's a lot of things that are happening, from falls from heights as well as falls at the same level.
Haven't we done enough to raise an awareness to let employees know that if a job site gets shut down, not only from the ideas the loss of life or a major injury, horrible to begin with, but that can cost so much more money to a construction company, for one, them not working or their coworkers not working, to the expense of a company when that happens. So don't they see if they invested, they would recoup a lot of their money by making the investments in the technology, the equipment of what they could be doing on a job site?
Employers that are mature in their safety management systems, tech savvy, generally understand that there is a return on that investment. You know, for every dollar they put in, there's $4 to gain back in cost avoidance from a safety perspective. But companies where they're not as mature, particularly smaller companies where they're really managing their dollars very closely, they see safety and health expenditures as a cost against the job and as reducing their overall profit on the job. So sometimes shortcuts are encouraged just simply because of that.
Now, when we talk about National Safety Month, there's also other things. It's not just falls we have to worry about. I mean, we have to be protecting our workers from using other equipment, eye and other safety type equipment. Are we raising awareness for that as well? Because we know that our workers aren't putting the right eye gear on, foot gear. You know, are we trying to raise that awareness too for safety on the job site?
We are. The whole idea of National Safety Month is to get employees as well as employers thinking about safety from a holistic standpoint. And so, many companies have matured to the point where they are, they're beyond just simply working at compliance. And so now it's really about getting buy-in, and it's about, looking at employee behaviors, getting them to talk to each other. So there's a lot of things that we have to do. So it's not just equipment, it's not just conditional failures, but sometimes it's really more about getting that safety mindset so that we recognize and understand hazards as we do the job so that we can do a better job of protecting ourselves.
We have a skill force shortage right now. Are we seeing that the seasoned or more tenured employee is less likely to go through enough training to see, or are they not using the equipment that they should, versus maybe the young millennial, or both not doing the safety things they should be doing?
One of the struggles that comes down to getting that message out is what's the right way to do it. Folks that are tenured, been on the job for a while, say, hey, I've heard this over and over again, why do you keep telling me about it? But repetition has value. And then for the millennials, it's how do you reach them in the modem that actually gets that message across. And so how do we use the computer? How do we use our iPads? How do we use technology to communicate and help train and keep repeating consistently that message?
So we really have to use OSHA and what you folks are doing at the National Safety Council to really raise awareness that it doesn't matter whether you're old or young. Training is so very important all the time. You've never learned enough to always have to repeat. You know, we always say in construction, location, location, location. Now it's data, data, data. Now it should be safety, 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 right? We've just got to keep repeating that message so that our workers understand there's so much more to remember and to keep reminding ourselves why safety is so very important.
That is absolutely true. Training is one of the ways to do it, but there are others. Just whether it's toolbox talks or messaging within the organization, pre-shift briefings, every opportunity that we can take to sit down with our employees, to talk to them, to remind them to keep safe, and to remind them of why we do it. At the end of the day, it's not because I want you to be safe for my company, but it's because I want you to be able to go back home and enjoy the quality of life that you deserve.
Key to all of this is we want to keep our construction crews safe on the job site, right? All the time, 24/7, so they can go home to their families, right?
Absolutely.
So that's it. Well, you know what, Wes, thank you so much, and we appreciate the National Safety Council telling us all about this. Where can our viewers get all the information so they can learn more about keeping themselves safe on the job?
If you go to the OSHA website, OSHA has created a site for National Fall Stand Down Week. There's a lot of information that's downloadable in PDF form, so you can share that with employees and talk about falls in particular. And certainly if you go to the National Safety Council website, nsc.org, there's a whole section there for National Safety Month. There's 4 themes for the month, and there's information that's downloadable there as well.
Wes, thank you so much for being with us. And that's our Safety Zone for today. What began as a family-owned business remains a family-run business almost a half a century later. While combining the family values of the old with the new, the newest generation of a builder at Orren Pickell is here to talk with us today. I'm pleased to welcome Lisa Pakal. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So Lisa, I'm so excited. When we talk about family-run businesses, these are generational businesses that are exciting to hear today. And so let's talk about that. How does it feel to be in a family-run business?
I love it. I'm very fortunate that not only do I really enjoy working with my family, we're very close as a family as well. So it's my parents, myself, and my youngest brother actually work for the company as well.
What I like even more about that is we get to see a woman in construction, and that's not a lot of women are in construction these days. I mean, that's exciting in and of itself.
Yeah, I was looking at some statistics, and I think there's actually something like less than 9% of the construction industry is women. So it's a very low percentage.
So when you go out there and you get into meetings and you're talking to all these men out there, do you get there and try to get tough and say, hey, you guys got to listen. There's a few of us, but I'm trying to get more inspiring, more young women into this business.
I think everyone has their own leadership styles, and I think you need to follow your own methodologies, right? So, and every leader is going to go into that differently. And I think as a woman, maybe you bring a different touch or a different spin into that in regard to communication and managerial style that I think is important. we're actually, our company now has, I think a third of our company, believe it or not, is women. And those are project managers, those are architects, those are, we're not just talking about administrative assistants and things like that, but real roles that are contributing to our projects is almost a third women.
So talk about that a little bit. The way your company has grown as a family-owned business, bringing women into it, construction has had a lot of ebbs and flows, and especially when you talk about residential kind of construction. It's a tough industry to do, let alone get women into it. How have you guys succeeded from an older generation to a younger generation? There's a lot of views that are different as well.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster, to say the least. You know, I'm sure you're aware, but national housing averages, we were looking at around 1.4 million starts on an average for the last 50, 60 years or so. Topped out in 2006 around 2 million, dropping down in 2007 down to 500,000 starts, right? So our company went from around 135 employees down to 20 during that time period. So we were fortunate in the sense that we were able to hold on to a lot of our great talent and really nurture some talent through those years as well. Some of those project managers that I just mentioned entered our firm through administrative assistant roles, right? So we have a receptionist that's been with us for 12 years now that is now currently a project manager. So educating and really training from within has been a huge part of providing those opportunities for all of our staff, not just women.
So what's your role within the company now? What kind of things do you do? Are you in technology? You're in operations? What do you like? What's the job you're serving?
I'm in a little bit of everything. So I'm our operations officer, and I really am meeting with everyone from our IT managers to our project managers, marketing, architecture, home maintenance, really touching everything, sales, just trying to provide a little bit of a background and leadership. I think through that constricting of our business, we did get a little flat, so I really do. I'm meeting with almost all of our managers on a daily basis.
And so how has that changed from what your parents have done in that role that you serve today? Because I'm sure you'd say what they've done when they started the company to what you're doing is probably a completely different role.
Yeah, absolutely. My father started the company about 40 years ago, and I think was a true visionary in how he thought about the industry. I think you're probably aware, I'm certainly aware, the construction industry is a bit of a lag in regard to technology.
Absolutely.
And Orren had the forethought to really use technology as a process point, right, to kind of get out of what our economists would call those valleys of death, right? So growing from $10 million companies to your $50 million companies to your $100 million companies. And in the early 2000s, we built custom software that would allow us to communicate faster, right? How do you make more money in the construction industry? Where does the rubber really hit the road? It's with timing. And if you can streamline and enhance your communication processes, you're able to not only provide a better client experience, but you're able to build faster. And when you can build faster, you can be a better value to your client, and you can make a little bit more money.
And what are the best projects you've built right now that you guys say you're really proud of? That your family and you have said, we've put our stamp on this and we're really pleased about.
We would say we're very proud of all of our projects.
Everybody says it. When I ask people, they say it's like their babies. They
Exactly.
don't want to.
Exactly. And I think one of the things that maybe people don't realize about our company is not only do we build custom, totally blank sheet of paper custom homes, but we also remodel, and we also do home maintenance. So we have a team of technicians that come in and will do anything from hanging pictures to cleaning out your dryer vents. So we run the full gamut of customization in regard to.
How many employees do you have now?
We're 30.
30
employees. Yep.
So, and with that, now you're going out to where exactly are you guys doing some of the work?
We're primarily in the North Shore, the Chicagoland area. We've got some projects in the city, western suburbs, northern suburbs, and then we build vacation properties in southern Wisconsin through Harbor Country, Michigan, and a little bit of Indiana.
And now looking at technology, how have you advanced in how you apply technology? Would you say that's changed as well?
It has. Again, just trying to, I think, communication and the ability to get information from the field back to the office without having to physically be there has allowed us to expand geographically as well.
I'll tell you, Lisa, it's been great having you here.
Thanks
so
for
thank
having
you
me,
so
Peggy.
much.
Yeah.
And so that's our Someone You Should Know for today. Hope you've all enjoyed it as much as I have. We've discussed many times about ensuring the health of the construction worker and that they stay intact. But what about the machines that are operating to get that job done? Here to tell us all about the new form of the health that we're talking about is Jim Wagner, who is the Manager of Machine Health, and Andrew Kahler, Product Marketing Manager of John Deere Worksite. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about that. What are we talking about when we're talking about the center of this monitoring and all about what that means today?
Sure, absolutely. So what we're trying to do today is leverage the telematics that our equipment is equipped with out of the factory. And that telematics enables us to collect data from those machines, data like diagnostic trouble codes, also known as fault codes from those machines. Other data like oil temperatures, oil pressures, anything that really helps us understand how that machine's operating. And we want to use that data to understand what is the health of that machine. Is there an impending issue that a customer may experience? And that's where our team comes in and our network of dealers to really help support uptime for customers.
Now, when we talk about telematics is not new. It's something that's been around for a very long time. But now how we actually leverage telematics is really the power of information. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So in years past, customers would be inundated with the amount of information that they're getting via the telematics system on their equipment. But with the Machine Health Monitoring Center and with our dealers' machine monitoring centers, they help to understand that data, to help generate insights from that data, and ultimately be able to respond with a customer with the most important information that keeps their machines up and running, maximizes their uptime, like Jim said, and allows them to do their job without having to worry about whether their machines will be up and running.
So Jim, when you look at all this information today, what kind of information does John Deere think that they can do differently today with their machines than you were able to do, let's say, 5 years ago?
Sure. So I think probably the big differentiator all comes down to the customer experience. So in the past, if a customer was experiencing a problem with a machine, in most cases they were the first one to recognize that. And it was a very reactive, and traditionally throughout the industry, it's been a very reactive support model for supporting downtime for customers. The big difference today is with the data we have from our machines, we can actually see when a potential issue is starting to creep up on a machine. And so what that enables us to do through our dealer network is really deliver a more proactive support model for customers so that they can actually schedule downtime rather than having a machine go down in the middle of an operation.
So you've just described the difference between proactive and reactive and predictive maintenance, and that allows to getting the most life out of your machine. When you guys talk about that, how is that really related to really saving money at the job site when you're using and maximizing a piece of equipment?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we know from a lot of our customers' interaction with us that downtime costs them a lot of money. They have deadlines that if they don't hit their deadline on their job, they're subject to really stiff penalties. But they also, from day to day, if they have a machine in their production operation that goes down, every other machine and every other employee that supports that machine that's down is also down. So it's really important for our customers to keep their machines up and going, and that translates to productivity, that translates to dollars and profitability.
Have we been talking about, when you look at that, how to extrapolate and really look at the right amount of data with that? Because as you just described there, looking at information is great, but looking at what's the right information to leverage that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the beauty of the Machine Monitoring Center, that our dealers monitor that information coming in from the customer's machine, and they can segregate those things that are things that they can service at the next time they see the machines, or those things that are really important that could take the machine down in a matter of hours or days. And if they can focus on those really eminent failures, those are the things that customers are most interested in. And then they can catch the rest of the stuff at the next time the machine needs maintenance.
Are you giving your dealers the insight to actually know how to leverage this information? Because we always get overwhelmed by data because we don't really know how to use it. So is there proper training to actually know how to use this health monitoring center that you're describing? Because I think all of a sudden if you say it's there, I think people are going to be afraid of it. Is there that time that says we're going to walk you through this information?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have essentially two different levels of monitoring that are happening in our world today. So our dealers are pretty well equipped to monitor kind of for the basic type issues that are happening for customers. So they understand diagnostic trouble codes. They have experience.
They're better than most.
Right, exactly, absolutely. So they will have a very experienced field technician take a role called a machine monitoring specialist. That person has a wealth of background and knowledge to understand what failures correspond to the information from those machines. But if we take it up another level, what we're doing at Deere to supplement our dealers is really applying more big data and analytics techniques to this information, where we can actually apply subject matter expertise from our engineers, from our product support folks, to really hone in on those very challenging issues that we can then provide very direct information to our dealers to be able to proactively support those problems.
Now, I got to ask, before we run out of time here, how's the relationship you guys now have with Kespre going to fit into this whole relationship you got going?
Yeah, absolutely. Kespre brings a whole new data set to our customers they can use to get more insights to manage their job site, maximize productivity, and maximize uptime on the job site. So the insights that our customers generate from the 3D topography or the stockpile volumetrics that come from the Kespre Aerial Intelligence Solution, as I said, is another stream of data that gives us our customers insights, again, to understand what's going on the job site, monitor job site progress, and ultimately be more profitable.
Gentlemen, thank you for being with us today. We really enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
very
having
much.
us.
All right, that's our innovation and technology for today. It's National Safety Month, so I thought I would do something a little bit unique on Got a Tool today. I received these Globex gloves in the mail, and the company claims that they are cut and puncture resistant. So what I did is I actually filled a latex glove with water, and I put them inside these gloves. So I want to give them a little bit of unique approach today. So I'm going to give you a background about the gloves first. So they're designed to be used anywhere in construction, camping, car repair, you name it. And these gloves will actually supposed to keep you safe, right? Keep your hands safe, you won't get cut. But what makes these gloves so unique is that the yarn is made with this special technology that makes these gloves more durable and resistant. So I wonder if that's true. So I guess we're going to find out if that's true in a second, because the product is currently up on Indiegogo and it's estimated to begin shipping in August. But in order to test it, I didn't want to cut my hand. So I thought we'd give it a go. So what do you think? Should we try? So first, I guess they're cut resistant. So let's see. Well, I guess I'm not cutting anything through. That's pretty good, huh? Pretty good knife. Now I wonder if they're puncture resistant. So if we see if I get splashed at all here, like stabbing it, something crazy, but let's see. No, I don't see any water coming through. I feel like I'm going crazy. I'm hitting the table. Oh, well, there's a little leakage of water. Nothing horrible, though. Huh. Go figure. You might be bleeding, though, if that was your hand. You might have some blood. But it's a little bit. I don't know if that's your hand. I think it might have failed the test. I'm not sure. What do you think? But, I don't know. It's a good thing that's not my blood right now. So, I guess you be the judge. So if you're looking for a way to keep your hands, I guess, from not being bleeding all over, I don't know. I guess it failed my test. So that's your Got a Tool for today. If you'd like us to puncture your dreams, send us information about your product to info@constructtech.tv. In construction, we've always said location, location, location. But today, we're talking data, data, data. And you're getting it from your software in the office, from your smartphones, from your drones, and even from your security systems. But how do you manage all this data? Ken Pittman, Chief Marketing Officer from TrueLook, shares some of his insights and examples of how to leverage all this real-time data. Ken, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So what we're talking about today is, and it's really important. So when we look at a job site and you get these time-lapse camera pictures and you're talking about drones, because now the FAA has given us all kinds of new regulations and you don't want to get in trouble at your job site flying a drone over and not knowing what you're doing, right? So it gives you insights that maybe your construction worker can't go. It's a part of the site you can't go. So what kind of information and data are you actually giving with the types of cameras to the job site? What kind of money, profitability are they saving by using one of your products these days?
Sure. So basically, it's real-time information of what's happening at your job site at any time. So if you're the project manager or even the developer and you're curious what is going on right now, you can always log in and see a live picture or a live streaming video of your job site. And that means if something's going on and you get a call about it, you can check up on it right away. And that also goes back in time. So like I mentioned earlier, you can go back in time and check on previous pictures from your time lapse, basically. So say you have a weather delay you need to justify, you can go back and see what the weather was like at a certain time. Or a subcontractor says they were there and doing something, you can go back and double check all of that. So that's one of the powerful things about the time-lapsing feature. But it's basically really powerful for being able to always be in the know what's going on your job site. We had one customer who just was building a dam. PCL was building a huge dam, and they needed to check when spillover was going on. So they could always know from anywhere exactly what was going on with the dam spilling over, and they could pull out their trucks or whatever was getting potentially wet. And it was just a good way to keep track of what was going on in real time, basically.
So when you look at these, giving that example of what you just described as PCL, are there other examples like that as you've been able to look at with the time lapse and giving that kind of information that really helps with trying to say what you have to do at the job site? You got another great example like that?
Sure. Well, one that comes to mind was a little more simple, but we had a customer where their banner was falling off the building and getting into the road, and they found out just by looking at their webcam real quick. Yeah, that's not good. And we've definitely had plenty of people who were trying to look back in time, like I mentioned, to see what's been going on in the past. So they could go back to a certain date and say, oh, yeah, it was rainy that day, so the workers weren't lying. That's actually why they're behind. So that was helpful. That's been helpful for a lot of people.
Are some of that good when you're doing a lot of government work and saying, why things have been delayed or things that you need to look at? Is that really good for information of really saying we have to document things that happen on the job site, that sometimes you have a little bit of a hard time really saying, look, we have something to really show you what the cause of an effect is that's happening at a site?
Certainly, and you can also create all kinds of notes and comments on their pictures, so you can notate exactly what's going on. So it's just a really good documentation tool all around. And as I mentioned, we also have security video recording, so it's basically on a 7-day loop. But if something goes missing, or a worker had an incident and got injured or something, you can go back and see exactly what happened on an actual video, instead of having to be curious about what really happened there.
So you get a good view of somebody doing something goofy. OSHA gets a chance to say, well, that guy said he had his hard hat on, but he really didn't. He was doing something that he shouldn't have been doing. You've got some really good video of being able to see what they've been doing on the site.
That's right. And you're also, if you're worried about OSHA watching your camera, you don't have to be, because it is fully secure and privatized and encrypted. So no one's watching your camera but you.
So when we look at this right now, you really have a great view of everything that's happening on the job site. Looking at that, is there, price-wise, is it competitive? What are you looking at compared to all these other time-lapse cameras that are out there these days?
Sure. So you'll have little one-off cheapo cameras you can just strap on your pole, and it's not live video. There's no time-lapse things, going back in time and stuff like that. That we're going to be more than that, obviously. But with people doing what we're doing, with actual live images, time-lapse recording that are custom time-lapses, security recording, we are one of the top 3 providers for that, and we are definitely the more affordable of those 3. So that's probably why we're doing so well lately.
Well, Ken, we appreciate you being with us today. Ken from TrueLook, thank you so much, and we appreciate all your time. That's great. Thank you for being with us. Now that's something to keep in mind when trying to manage all that data. And that's your Learn It for today. Welcome to the word of the day, which is BIM. Many of you may know what this word stands for, or I should say acronym. Some of you may not. Here at ConstructTech, we have been talking about building information modeling for more than a decade. But what really is BIM? Well, I will tell you what it is not. This is not a piece of technology or a model. That is a common misconception. Rather, BIM is a collaborative process. It is a method for sharing data from the early design phases through the life cycle of a construction project. So let's break it down even further. Let's walk through 2D, 3D, 5D, I should even say 4D, and even 6D BIM. 2D is the old way of doing things, hand sketches on paper. Moving into the digital world, 3D is the model. This is the very basic design of a building, a home, or an infrastructure. The model is often built in a computer-aided design software, which is the way we have defined many times at, let's say, ConstructTech magazine, or even here on ConstructTech TV. From there, data is shared with the schedule. This is also known as 4D BIM. 4D BIM includes quantity, takeoff, location-based quantities, productivity rates, and even labor costs. From there, the information is linked with cost, which is 5D BIM. 5D provides cost-loaded schedules for the owner and even estimates. This changes the way the construction industry actually does business. But there is yet another D I want you to consider. So hello, 6D. Some people use this term to refer to extended BIM through the life cycle. The data is generated in the early stages of a project and can extend to the asset life cycle and even maintenance or management system. Now, there are some hurdles to all this BIM adoption that we need to talk about. One of the big ones is the lack of standardization in the industry that we talk about so often. And let's not forget our inability to share data easily. Still, many construction companies are attempting some form of building information modeling today. And that's really, really awesome thing to think about. BIM, that's your word of the day. And thanks for watching ConstructTech TV, where we are talking about tech at the job site.